Well, today's a big day. I've got it booked for inspection, and whilst everything's been checked off, all the usual stuff, all the safety stuff, one's always a little bit anxious in anticipating the results. Now, I don't expect it to fail, but there's always something that one overlooks and something that might not meet the rego, but that's fine. Look, it's a first cut, so I'm willing to just go with the flow and see what happens. But yeah, I'm super excited and nervous at the same time because it's a bit of a drive. So I'm going to be taking it easy, stopping along the way, just double checking everything to make sure that nothing's untoward. Yeah, so I'm kind of, excited yet apprehensive. Now, in preparation, what I've done is packed up a whole lot of stuff. The usual oils, engine oil, gearbox oil, diffs and so on. Got my toolbox, some spare nuts and bolts in case something comes loose and is dropped off and I need to replace it. Let's get this out of the way. So all of that is there, and then on the passenger side I've got some more tools, lots of water, and of course I've got my companion. And everything seems to check out okay. So I've got fuel. I've just done a check on oil, water and so on. Yesterday I actually even torqued the wheel nuts to the right torque settings, adjusted the mirrors, and yeah. So what I'll do is, on my way, I will be stopping and taking some pics and filming and so on. So this is just the beginning. A little bit of an initial warm-up. All right, let's get this show on the road. looks like I've got a tiny little pinhole there, which I think I remember seeing that when I was warming up the engine, but obviously it's never been this warm. Radio's nice and hot, so I just got to keep an eye on that. Everything else seems to be okay. I can't see any other coolant leaks. The only other thing that's been happening is that you've probably seen in the video that this door just keeps on popping open with vibration, and I think it's because I've got to adjust the latch, and I'll do that now just so that it doesn't keep popping open. By just letting it cool down a bit. So up that steep hill, which is if you live in Tasmania and you're living south of Tassie and you're heading from Hobart to Huonville, you know the big long hills up at Lower Longley. So she did pretty well, 50k an hour. I had it on third gear with the overdrive on. I've got the hubs on freewheeling, which means that there's less resistance obviously doing that. I'll just put them back on again because I want to make sure things are lubricated. But wow, on the flat there I got to 50 mile an hour or 90 k's an hour, and yeah, I tell you what, I can see why they say the overdrive is worth the money. Check this out, no smoke, so it needed a good run after all. That one looks like it's reading a little bit higher. It's kind of on the top side of N. I don't know if that's normal or not. Maybe you Series 3 guys can tell me. But on this one here, it's reading smack on 80. We shall continue on. Right, so I thought I'll just finish off this trip video. So all in all, you know, those who've gone through this process would know what I'm talking about. What's such a relief to be able to drive without any incident, get it registered and approved, and then to drive back. Really happy with that. Since then I've tried to decipher some of the oil leaks, and one of them was, and I've already resolved the issue obviously, I've added new carpets, so to speak. Hopefully it aids with the set down sound deadening. But anyway, what I noticed, and I have taken the cover off on purpose, this cover here, I actually didn't tighten these nuts up. So there was oil all over the place here, and I was wondering where the oil was coming from, and that's what it was, predominantly anyway. I still got the other issue with the oil dripping down from the selector cover, but aside from that, that was like a pool of oil here. So I'm really happy with that, as in discovering that was a major issue. What else? Yeah, oh, radiator. So with the radiator, I took advice, I'll come to that later, I took advice from the Land Rover gods, the experts, my mates, and what they said was just to put a bit of JB Weld on it. Hold on a second. So I've got the JB Weld there, and that's been actually holding tight. Amazing. Even with the hole in it, it only just leaked a little bit, and I suspect what's happened is with the heat, this got hot and then it kind of sealed itself. So I was expecting it to be like streaming out, but no. Anyway, that solved that problem. I also noticed when I was driving it that the steering was a little bit heavy. And I know that people say steerings, you know, they're heavy, but it was very, it was almost too much resistance. So what I did under here, see if I can get a bit of a better shot for you. So this is the adjuster nut here for preloading the steering ball and so on. And you undo this lock nut here, and what I did was I jacked the front up so both wheels were off the ground, and then I slackened that off and then just returned it to the point where I started getting no play but still quite free, and that made a huge difference. So that in itself meant that the steering was actually quite light. I'm surprised how light it is. Mind you though, these are 750s, so they're not exactly big mutters that are gripping the road, but still made a big difference. The other thing I did was I remeasured using string line. All I did was I attached the string line from the rear tyre to the front on both sides, and then I did a bit of a wheel alignment, and it was a little bit too much toe in, and I noticed that when I was driving it, so that is now rectified. So all these little things that you find when you're driving, and you know, you just fix them as you're going. What else? Oh, I discovered, oh, this is going to be a bit of a pain though, and I won't be able to show you, but underneath the seat here obviously is a petrol tank, and I've got a return line from the diesel overflow back into the tank. And so when I was filling up the tank yesterday, I was trying to get it right up, and then suddenly I see all this diesel pouring out, and it was overflowing out of that out of the little return nozzle, which wasn't quite tight on the top of the tank. So that was another issue. I'm yet to kind of fully fix that one. Haven't done that yet. What else? Oh, a couple of little things over here, those little screws that are holding in this the overdrive bracket. These ones here, they started coming loose. No big deal, you know, vibration and all that kind of stuff. But aside from that, really, given that I've rebuilt it in 3 years, well, really 2 years, but it's taken me 3 years all up, and I hadn't actually given it a good test run before driving there. It was a bit of a gamble, but no, it really goes to show how simple these vehicles are, you know, and easy to maintain and easy to fix. When I had it at the inspection place, the mechanics there actually commended me on the fantastic work that I did, which is always nice when it's coming from the pros, you know. You kind of think, yeah, I've done a good job. So it passed with flying colours, no issues. Only that little leak, which I mentioned to them off the bat. I said, look, I know there's a little leak here, and I explained it to them, and but it was nothing. It wasn't even dripping. You saw in the video that it was just a little, you know, oil drip coming down, and I'm going to fix that by just taking that cover off and then resealing it. So anyway, I'll close off this video. I hope those who have been following me with this build, I'm hoping that you guys are as equally relieved as I am to get this on the road. And future videos will be about, you know, small projects. I'm aiming on putting the secondary tank in that location, which means I'm going to have to modify the seat box in order to fit it, but that'll be my secondary tank. It's another it's actually a tank from a Series 1, so it's got the filler actually on the tank itself, and so that'll be that. I may in future be replacing the leaves. I'm not sure yet whether they'll be with parabolics or with the standard ones. I'm actually quite happy with these. It's not that bouncy. It's actually quite a comfortable ride, surprisingly. But she does lean obviously to the driver's side to the right, because the battery's there, the fuel tank's there, the driver's there, so everything's there on that side. everybody's commented, that all my mates have commented on how fantastic it looks with these wheels, not only the white rims but also these Olympics. So I'm actually going to be looking at buying some more of these tyres, because they do really suit the look of the series. They're not too chunky, they're quite knobbly, so they've got a nice external profile, and they actually drive okay. Like I said, the steering's not heavy at all. Quite happy with that. A little bit underneath. I did give it a bit of a clean earlier on because of obviously of that leak on the top of the transmission cover. But aside from that, all in all, I'm quite happy with the results. For those who are inquiring about the actual diesel motor, I think it's adequate. I don't know how it would go on a 109 because of the extra hundreds of kilos of weights on the chassis and so on. On this 88 it seems to be okay. Like I said, on those really steep hills, third gear with the overdrive, I was doing 50k, and I think that's adequate. If I'm going to be towing, like for example I'm going to be towing a trailer, I have to expect that even with a lightweight trailer, that's probably still going to give me some, performance issues as well. But look, in future, if I decide that I need more power, I'm probably going to stick a 200 TDI engine in her, and still keep this original engine, of course. But there's such a beautiful little motor, both the petrol and the diesel. I just find them just simplistic, very agricultural, suits the vehicle. And, putting a 200 TDI kind of already starts making it, a bit too modern. But look, we'll play it by ear. Anyway, more to come on videos. If you have any suggestions of things that you might like to see on this build, let me know. Happy to do videos on it. And as always, thanks for your support. Thanks for following me on this journey, and more to come. Catch you then.